So that takes us straight into themes. Pi's devotions show that the three religions share a common principle, which Pi reveres. If you revere something, you respect it deeply. The center of existence is love and the embracing of the universe in all its manifestations. Manifestations, how it is shown, in rock or stone or person or bird or whatever. The writer's impression that Pi does not understand God's lack of direct involvement in life on earth, but retains, keeps his faith in God and in moral principles, expresses what I argue is one of the major themes of the novel. The writer quotes Pi's phrase, "the better story," in relation to life. And what I'm arguing is that life with spirituality is for Pi the better story. But the phrase "the better story" reminds us that we are reading a story, that Pi is a character in a story, the fictional writer is a character in a story, but we are being challenged. Think about your life. Your life is real, yes? You experience it, yes? Is your life with faith and belief in God a better story? And that's what Pi is arguing. He's saying we construct our reality. There isn't something called your life that is just kind of over there. You experience it. You interpret it. You interact with what happens to you. And Jan Martel, through this book, is challenging you to choose your better story. Which is your better story? Think about it. Maybe you're talking to a friend who's really depressed, and you try to show them that they can work through that depression, and maybe it will strengthen them. They'll grow the resilience we've talked about that Pi has. And yes, experience that depression, come through it, grow from it, and let's see how you can come out at the other end. You are trying to help that person interpret this terrible situation they're in a better way. It's the better story. So look at that again. For Pi, life with spirituality is the better story. And you as a reader are going to be asked by the time you get to the end of this book, which is the better story? And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but you're also being asked to look at reality and choose the better story. The emphasis on the fictional work as a story is repeated in the last sentence of part 1. This story has a happy ending. So when we get to the end of these chapters, which I've called the author's interpolations, right at the end of part 1, you are being told, before we get into part 2, which is this terrible experience that Pi has, is it's going to be okay, there's going to be a happy ending. Now, I don't know what you're like, but I always want a happy ending. I sometimes lie awake at night and rewrite stories that had terrible endings and make sure they have a happy ending. So many of us want the happy ending, even though we are not sure that that is real. But Jan Martel is challenging us to say what is real. And this story is going to have this happy ending. But remember, we're being reminded, therefore, that this is a selection, a choice that Jan Martel has made. It's part of the creative vision of the author, Jan Martel, to give it the happy ending. So we're never allowed to forget that this is a story and that this has a reality as a story, but it is a story. And then we're being asked, okay, so look at your own life as a story, and what's the better story?